whatever we humans put our minds to always turns out to be great at first, but then fucks us at the end. So my whole thing is like, wait, should AI be allowed to be applied to military things? No,
Oh, fuck no.
I don't think so.
Not until we got it figured out. Not until there's a general
no,
like
at all, because computers have a problem where they could always be corrupted and invaded and hijacked.
And then there's also a theory. I'm not saying this is true, but this is a theory that they're gonna turn these asylum seekers into voters.
I mean, that's
That
I wouldn't put that past I wouldn't put that past a Democrat or Republican because they're greedy sons of bitches.
Real? Did it happen, or what do you think?
I'm 50-50 on that.
You 50-50?
I'm 50-50 on the conspiracy theory. I'm 100% don't give a shit.
What you're doing. Like you should have a how do I explain this? Like if I know I'm gonna cheat, you should go to your partner and be like, listen, like this is what I want in my relationship. This is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna want multiple partners. If you're not okay with that, then this isn't gonna work.
Right, but that's not what I'm talking
about. I know.
I'm talking about.
But I think there is a difference.
If you're single, if a girl is single and another guy is two single people.
Yeah, and they both have a bunch of partners. The guy is going to be put on a pedestal and the girl is going to get shamed. I get it. Right. I get it.
That I don't agree with. I think they should either both be put on pedestals or both should be shamed. It shouldn't be one more than the other because if in essence they both did the exact same thing.
And so, do you think that girls can do? So, do you think that girls can do like anything a man can do?
In what
do you
aspect?
think that we're just like the same?
In what aspect?
In any aspect.
Well, because things are different. They're physically different than men. So it's like, can a woman deadlift 1,000 pounds if she trained for it? Yes. Can she physically beat up a guy? Yes. In certain aspects, I've seen it.
It depends, yeah.
So again, it's like that. It's a difference.
I think there's just
you have to really look at the context of how you're putting that question up because that's where it'll get different. And I think that we should talk about, but I think in certain aspects, yeah, they can. If they put their training towards it and they do it, because there's women that power lift. There are women that do the sports that men do,
Yeah, but they're on like testosterone and shit, which is pretty ironic.
Right, but they're putting their forth to it,
It's
really strange.
I get it.
That's why I stick to just the sex double standard part, because I think that's where it gets a little hazy in the middle.
All right. Well, let's just get started. All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Elevated Podcast. Today, we're going to cover some recent events, some controversial topics, some things that I think should be talked about because not a lot of people are having this conversation. So let's get started. I want to talk about immigration, the current the asylum seeker problem that we have in this country.
Let's do them all. Let's do the whole gambit of immigration, if anything.
So I did this. I searched it up, and apparently 2.13 million immigrants / asylum seekers have come across the border in 2023. That is a lot. And do you think that it's okay? Do you think that that's okay? Do you see a problem with that?
No. If they're doing it, if they're seeking asylum, they're going through the process that this government put forward to have people come in when they want to get away from either their home countries that either in a war or if they'll be murdered or if they could prove that they need to seek asylum here for whatever reasons they're doing it for. That's the process that this government put in place for those things. So if a process is put in place and someone comes along, like you or me come along and say, hey, I want to do this process to get to the goal of being let into the country and be able to stay here legally, then I have no issue with that. My issue comes with, and this is where some people don't agree with me on, but I don't agree with illegal immigration.
Yeah.
People just hopping over the wall or running through the desert and just running across the border illegally. They get caught by Border Patrol. Back you go.
I get that.
I don't agree.
My issue with what's been going on is that, yes, there is a process, but the fact that the process is, okay, we're going to take everybody and just, hey, just come. Whatever's going on in your country, just get over here.
It's just the application of it. It doesn't mean that they're gonna get granted the asylum because they still have to go before a judge and he hears their case and they got to plead their case and then he'll determine whether they get it or not.
I think they're getting put here and then go see the judge.
Yeah, that's the process. What it is now.
That's kind of messed up. But my thing is that
that's what it was before Trump. Trump changed it and said, "Hey, stay in Mexico.
Well, yeah.
While we figure this out." And I don't see why that. I'm like 50-50 on that in a way.
So this is my thing, right? So I see on internet news. I don't watch live news, but mostly in the videos that I see, it's a lot of like I see like caravans of people, 15,000, 12,000 people that are
We also have to
marching
watch that.
towards the border. Which we do have to watch that because you don't know what the context is.
And there's
behind
no
that.
way that happens. There's no way 15,000 people are being marched towards the border because
the other day it was recorded 12,000 people crossed the border.
Crossed the border at over time, not at the same time.
In one day. That single day, the caravan of people crossed the border.
Well, that's where I kind of I need to see that video because for me, and from all the information from the shows that I've watched, that deal the border crossings or border patrol period, a lot of the areas in Mexico that are around the border area, about a lot of the border towns, they're controlled by the cartels. You're not just walking up to the border without paying a fee or a tax to these cartels, and that's their business. They're in the business of, you want to come over, all right, you got to pay us. You got to pay us our fee, and you go from there. Because a lot of the times it's like that's what these people pay for. They pay the coyotes to take them.
There's stories of even the U.S. like paying people like per month to just come on over. These are stories. I'm not saying that it's true, but these are stories. And then it's like when things like this happen, you have to be like, okay, what's going on really? And I think nobody really has a clue. And then my point is, okay,
I would ask a border patrol agent exactly because they're the ones that
gotta
are
go
there.
find one.
Well, you have to go to the border, unfortunately, because they're not for them. They won't be up here. They'll be down there, and they all live in complexes amongst other border patrol agents. Because
I get it,
a friend of a friend actually was a customs agent. For training, they all get sent to the border, and as soon as they're down there, they get a price put on their heads because of the fact of where they work.
Yeah,
so they all live in a compound with each other. So that's kind of what that is.
Well, let's go back to my issue though, is the fact that it's kind of just like open season for anybody just to come over.
Well, it's always been open season for the
I don't think it hasn't been this bad though.
Well, that's because
definitely not for asylum seekers or for immigrants. Like it's never been this bad. And at least maybe it has, and they just didn't say anything.
No, it's been worse because look at the situations in those other countries. Like the situation in Venezuela, the situation in Guatemala, El Salvador.
Yeah, but these are things
El Salvador's getting better. Honduras, all those countries in South America and Central America that have been having serious problems with their economies, with murder, with crime in their countries, and just the political unrest and all the stuff that's been going on. Look at Venezuela, what's happening there. So a lot of their people are fleeing from there. They're coming and they want to come here to seek asylum because their countries meet those criteria.
I get why.
I think that's why you see
they're
the
coming.
increase in numbers is because things have gotten a lot worse over the last 5 years in those countries.
I get it. I get why, but the fact that we don't have our shit together. This country doesn't have our shit together at all.
When have we ever had our shit together?
But it hasn't been this bad in a while. Like we're coming across a great economic crisis. It's getting bad. We have a whole bunch of overseas problems that we're just funding money to. We got the political stance where we got freaking Trump versus Biden or Republican versus Democrat. It's a lot of going back and forth and a lot of division.
Welcome to the 1990s. Because in the 90s, we had the same issue. We had the Middle East problem going on. The first Iraq war was going on, and there's Democrat versus Republican, election year, stuff like that. Immigration has been a hot topic issue for fucking decades because they never solved the issue. They figure, let's just put more border patrol agents, pay them shit, send them off to the wall. Then that's the problem. They don't really look at any ways to actually solve that issue and make an actual difference.
Or then what about all the funding that's getting cut from these government agencies that I was talking about in the car? You have NYPD, FDNY, sanitation and corrections all receiving budget cuts for things that we need. Like we need it's already fucked up. The city's already dirty. So for you to take the budget out and now it's gonna get even more worse. Like the cops, they're already going through enough shit. So now they're gonna get paid less. They're cutting overtime hours. So we covered, they're getting paid shit anyway. So now you're cutting them already. FDNY.
They cut the overtime hours, which the overtime hours is what's put them into the billions of dollars of range. What you'll see in the sense, I think, with the NYPD, and I'm just talking here,
yeah.
What you might see with the NYPD might do is you're going to see a lot of more summons autos out there because that's where a lot of their budget comes from. Like a good portion of it comes from this, whatever the summonses they issue out, which is why it's a big thing. Yeah, we all know they have quotas. Let's not pretend. Yeah. Let's not do that. We get it. We got quotas. Let's just agree to move on at that point. So you might see more summonses being issued from both, NYPD and, FDNY doing their building inspections. So they're going to see more fire inspections coming out to clubs businesses, office buildings, all that stuff where they need to send out more. Where they would look the other way, now they're going to issue a summons because they can get more money out of that.
Yeah.
Is that going to come, fill that gap of what they're losing? Of course not. But, that's because the mayor, kind of I guess, didn't really plan it through before he said, yeah, keep sending them. We got room. We got the room, but do you get the money to pay for all those rooms that we're going to need, and all the space that they're going to acquire, all the things that they're going to need? These are human beings. These are not just numbers on a spreadsheet.
Well, that's how they look at it.
That's
and then
sad.
there's also a theory. I'm not saying this is true, but this is a theory that they're going to turn these asylum seekers into voters.
I mean, that's that I wouldn't put that past I wouldn't put that past a Democrat or Republican because they're greedy sons of bitches.
But that shouldn't be allowed at all. Like, I don't care. They shouldn't be allowed to vote for Trump, Biden. They shouldn't be allowed to vote at all unless you went through the full process of becoming a citizen. And now you're paying taxes. Now you have a job. Now you're doing this. But again, you're cutting funds. You're giving them taxpayers' money, like money that comes out my check, your check. It's getting somewhere along the line. It's getting sent to them.
What the mayor said was the reason why he has to do these pay cuts now is because the federal government never stepped up to help. Like they just stayed quiet. Like, yeah, we'll help you, but they never sent the check. Kind of from what I understand, he said, and it's just
because they don't care. They just want I don't know. There's something bigger than any of us going on. And that's
because if you look at for the Democrats, they're going to say, yeah, let's be pro immigrants. Let's be cool, great, happy for you. But don't just stop at saying, yeah, let's be pro. Like, do things to help make things better.
I think what it is, let's say they are going to turn them into voters, which I really don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anybody's going to let that fly.
To be honest,
but I've seen a lot of videos, especially with like senators talking, and they even said it, like they're trying to turn them into voters. Now
that's because they're doing what they would think to do first, and like that about part of Republican.
But to the point though, like if I'm a Democrat and I get all these people across the border, now they have money coming in, now they're away from their problems, they're gonna want to vote for my party, and you're basically just like weaponizing whatever the fuck that situation would be just to get votes,
right? But yeah,
now to counterweigh the actual people that actually like are citizens of this country.
I mean, anything's possible with politics. These corrupt bastards would choose
because it's all about money.
Anything. Of course,
it's all about money, and then
about power.
And then another thing, right? If you get more people if you turn them into citizens now, right, or whatever, asylum seekers.
And again, remember that process doesn't take 6 months. That process takes quite some time. So it's not where, yeah, let's push them through and have them out for the 2024 election.
Well, I think it's very convenient that they haven't stopped that at all, and the fact that
these people are not voting this year. There's no way they're going to get them to do it and not break.
Well, I think they're trying their best to do something if this is happening.
Even then, but it's not going to happen overnight. Nothing is going to when it comes to the immigration process. I think for people who do it the right way, who come in as residents and then apply to become a citizen, that process from that point forward takes almost like 6 to 8 months, almost a year.
I think
depending on what the flow of people have already. Because remember, they're backlogged.
Yeah, I get it, but I think we're underestimating the power that these people have. Because if they really wanted to, they will do it. If they really wanted to.
But what they don't want to do is get caught doing it, because then all that's going to do in an election year is give the Republicans
all you have to do is just pay them a certain amount of money.
Yeah, but it's not the people that are doing it. Like, if they're going to pay you to become this thing, they're not worried about you opening your mouth.
I know, they're worried about the other
person
people
that's looking that might see them pass off that pay. That's what they're worried about, because that came out in an election year. Oh, yeah, like Republicans paid these people or Democrats paid these people to be here, whatever. That's going to just destroy their chances. That's going to fuck up their integrity. Not that they have much anyways, because, in this country, both parties in my opinion, suck. These two, the only thing is worse than one party's bad ideas, and when both these assholes get together and just have no fucking idea, period.
Yeah, exactly. Because what's happening is they're both trying to pull every trick in the book, trying to get people on the side. But to move on to a different thing, right?
Like Lewis Black said, the Democratic Party is a party of no ideas, and the Republican Party is a party of bad ideas. And the only thing worse is when these two parties work together, because then you're going to just get, the Democrat that's
I think they should work together. I think that's the problem.
They should, but they don't. It's like the Democrat will say, I got a really bad idea, and the Republican stands up, but I got a way to make it.
But then
shittier.
I think it's also, I think they were also separated. I think there's a reason that there's such a thing as Republican and Democrat. There's a reason that there's such a thing as left, right, independent, liberal, conservative, because they want to keep us divided. It's on some scale. Of course. But
as
to move on, though,
as when you're divided, when people are divided, they're easier to control.
Exactly. To move on though, because we know they're coming in. It's not going to stop. I can't stop it. You can't stop it. Now let's look at the
The
people
only
that
way
are
they're going to
coming in, though.
stop the people from seeking asylum is if they shut it down completely. And
Yeah,
they
just say
say
fuck
we're no
off.
longer accepting anybody.
I
And we're not
I
doing
think that's the case. Unless like I really no, I really think that's the case because we're already fucked up. If
But
you
that'll
look at
go
if you look
against.
at everybody in America,
Yeah.
this is the lowest rate of people like of savings or people like this is the lowest people have saved. People are broke everywhere. There's high interest rates. It's way too expensive to buy, rent, to get a car, to get any interest or all the interest loans. It's all fucked up. I don't know the scientific terms for it all, but it's all fucked up. We're all going crazy. We're all broke. We're all struggling. So the fact that you're gonna put in more people and now we gotta share all our struggle. I don't think we need to fix our shit and then start being okay. Your country's fucked up. Let's get you over here. Let's make sure you're good. Let's make sure everybody's good. But that's not the case. They're kind of just
But
like
that's
saying,
always
"Oh,
been the argument, though. We've always said, like, we send all this aid to other countries to help fix their countries. Hello,
well, exactly."
America's not really like,
You got
come on,
Ukraine.
let's fix this.
We were sending money to Ukraine, then Israel happened. Now we're sending money over there, and it's just all fucked up. And it's like,
And not for
what's
other,
going
but they
on?
have enough of their own fucking money Israel has enough of
Exactly.
their own money to do their own shit. The only thing we keep sending to them is all the military stuff because they test it for us. We see if it works, and then we take it and we keep it. Like, all right, cool. That's where they have all the
Well,
shit.
no.
that they got.
So for the point of Israel, right? What are we sending them? We're sending resources, whatever that may. That may be building equipment, money, weapons, this and that. Do you know what's happening in Israel? Is that every time they get resources or something's going into that state, it gets freaking hijacked by the Hamas, and then they use it to build rockets and build whatever. Now I'm not trying to pick a side on all this shit because both sides are fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
I'm not even going to comment on this one.
I'm steering clear of this. But and I do have I have a theory, right? Actually, let me go back to my point. Let's look at the people coming in, the asylum seekers. How do we know that these people aren't rapists, murderers, pedophiles, just morally bad people? We don't know. I seen this video the other day, and it was this guy.
They vet them as best as they can.
I listened to this video, right? I seen him. This guy was walking down. He was somewhere in America, but it was an American recorded him, and this guy was like 3 other dudes was holding a baby. And the girl was like, oh, because he was moving a little weird. It was a weird scenario. And he was like, okay, how old's the baby? And he said some age. And then when they asked him, okay, what's his name? And what year was it born? He was like stuttering. He didn't know what to say. And then come to find out that baby wasn't his at all. It wasn't his. They couldn't find the mother. I'm not going to say stole, but kidnapped the baby. And now he's in our country. So this is what's getting let in. And how do we
actually
know?
what they do with that actually is that's controlled. That's actually what you call human trafficking. Because people actually will do that.
But
They'll
this is
pay
what's
to
happening.
have their kid taken by someone, or if they can't go themselves, they'll say, "Hey,
that's
you know what?
best case scenario.
Send them with the coyotes or whoever to transport them. They got to pay the cartels to do
it." But even the kid, for the sake of the video I seen, the kid was like knocked out. It looks like they drugged him.
They probably did. You never know. I mean, is it horrible? Sure. But does it happen?
And then
yeah.
let's look. Okay, and then let's look
But
at
it's
not just
who gets the blame for that. It's not.
I would say the government for letting them in the first place
Were
without
they
doing any type of.
or were they
anything.
still being vetted?
No, they were in. They were walking just down the block.
Right, but okay, so they're
probably in Texas because it looked like a desert.
All right, well, they have to do a better job at the border. Yeah, is everything perfect?
No, 100% no.
Can they do a better job with the vetting, with making sure that shit like that happen? They do try their best to stop the smuggling from happening for human trafficking like that, because that's how it usually comes. But most of human trafficking comes right through the airport. Majority of the illegal immigration happen through our airports every day from people who come here on student visas, fucking
That's overstayed. Yeah.
Just for
But
tourism.
I mean, but then even like
They overstay.
that story I told you, illegal immigrants. These aren't asylum seekers. They're illegal. They are the state of Texas. The police in Texas are not allowed to arrest them. They just let them.
It's not that they're not allowed to arrest them. They're not allowed to ask them their immigration status. Most police departments won't take up that headache because it just causes more issues on their end, because now they have to deal with it.
Want to.
The ones that did it before, I think Massachusetts, I believe, allows their state troopers to ask that question. Arizona, I believe, one of the sheriff's departments there were given the authority to ask for papers. And I think now Texas. If that's the case, then let them. I don't give a shit. If they want to put that resource into asking people's immigration status, as long as it's not abused.
Well, no, but if you see them, it's not about asking their immigration status. If you see them crossing the border illegally, if you see them literally just crawling over trying to get in there and you can't arrest them, I find a problem with that.
But that's the thing. Well, no,
and then the fact that the Department of Justice is coming in saying, no, you got to let them go. What the fuck is that about?
Let them go as they're crossing, or let anybody go, period. Because that could be abused. That could be abused in a sense, because in Texas, there's only two. I think it's either white. I think there's only 3 races. I forgot what exact, but it's either white or Mexican. There's no such thing as like, you're not Puerto Rican, you're not Dominican, you're Mexican, period. White, black, or Mexican. That's it. And if you go there, like, for example, like if they see me and you are walking down the street, they can stop us and ask us for our papers. And if we can't produce them, they can say, oh, well, you're illegal here now. And then abuse that.
I don't know about that.
Which is, it's happened. It's happened in the past. It happens in many places where they abuse that power because they figure they could stop anyone who may look like an illegal alien.
I don't know. Well, I would have to go to Texas and figure that out.
No,
because just like everything else, it's like
they have the
videos,
Minutemen Border Patrol guys, who was like civilians who lived along the border, who had land, ranches that people were crossing over, and what they were doing was they were shooting and killing the illegal people crossing over. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. Technically, because you don't know who's crossing. I mean, if you're gonna shoot a child, then that's different.
I think not. I don't think that's the answer either. I think arrest them and kick them back out.
I think the landowner should have the right to protect their land.
There's also the issue of the Mexican government isn't run by the government; it's run by the cartels.
Of course.
So then who you giving them back to? The cartels that are waiting. So it's like
they go back. They go back to their home country, and then if they want to try again, they got to pay the fee for the cartels to bring them back towards the border. It's an industry. It's a business down there.
Yeah,
that's what it is for them. And that's why I'm saying this. That's why I have a hard time understanding and believing the bullshit. Yeah, 15,000 people are just going to walk to the border. They're going to walk to a point of entry. Sure, they'll do that. Are they going to walk across the illegal border? Hell no, because there's no way they're going to get near it without someone stopping them and saying, hey, you want to get past this road?
There's literally videos of these people coming across the border. And then you have Homeland, then you have whatever agency that is, just organizing them and then putting them on buses. All of this is caught on camera.
Those are the asylum seekers. They're told to go to these spots
but what's going on now? It's like asylum seeker, illegal. They're all the same shit. To me, I don't think they're even segregating it, because if you have the point where they're not even arresting them, they're not sending them back.
Asylum seekers
they're just getting mixed in.
But asylum seekers are not entering the country illegally. They're going to the port of entry.
I get the point, but what I'm saying is the illegals. That's the
difference of the illegal immigration. The asylum seekers go to the port of entry and ask for asylum, and then get taken in, processed, and moved on. Illegal immigrants, they don't bother going to the port of entry. They just say, all right, let's grab a ladder or a tunnel or water or boat, whatever we're going to do, and let's just cross the border illegally when Border Patrol is not looking. That, for me, that's how I interpret illegal immigration versus asylum seekers.
All right.
They're not one and the same. They're not, and that's what people get confused with the two. That these people who are seeking asylum are trying to go about the right way to come into the country, because they can't afford to pay the fees to their country and to the government to go about the regular process, so they have to seek asylum, which gives them the opportunity to come into the country, work, make money, pay taxes, and then go about being naturalized for U.S. citizenship if they're allowed. Okay? Illegal immigrants who are people who are just fleeing from their country for whatever reasons they have, or coming back in because they went home to visit, or going over the wall, coming under the wall, or going over like through the Rio Grande or through the Nogales Desert or over the mountains, whatever they got, whatever they're doing, wherever they're getting over the wall illegally, they need to be taken back, prosecuted, thrown back, whatever the catch and release program is there. They take them and they throw them back, or make them spend 10 days in a prison here, which is like a vacation for them from what's back in their home country. Send them back. Those people need to be handled more efficiently. But that number is low. The asylum seekers is higher, but the illegal immigration number, from what I believe, is the lowest it's been in a while. Has it spiked up? It could. I mean, again, I don't have these numbers in front of me. But again, illegal immigration, I don't agree with. If you're going to come to seek asylum, do what you got to do. The government's responsibility is to vet these people correctly and make sure that we don't just bring in anyone who's not going to produce positivity to our country, to themselves. I think the government needs to do that.
What my thing is, and I want to move on to AI, because we spent a lot of time on immigration, but I see what you're saying. I understand. I'm so with you with illegal immigration, not allowed.
No,
but the asylum seekers, I think they need to cut down on that. I think we just need to pump the brakes a little and just try to work out a proper solution.
I agree. I agree with that. I could agree. I could agree with, because yes, with their process, clearly they're overwhelmed. They need to figure something out. We need more asylum judges because there's not many, which is causing a little bit with them. So it's like they need more judges to help process these cases quicker. So if they get 1,000 cases and like 600 of the people that are in those 1,000 cases are not don't qualify for it, get them back, send some more people. Let's get the qualified people, the people who actually meet the standard or whatever the requirements are. Meet it, put them through. People who don't, bye. Illegal immigrants, all right, you got caught. Back to your country you go.
Nope, that's best case scenario.
That's just how it should be. And that's what it is, and that's just, we just need to make sure that people understand
all we could
difference.
Do is just hope for something better and hope that this doesn't come in.
Sometimes
turn into a clusterfuck.
It's going to be a clusterfuck because this government, Republicans and Democrats alike, cannot agree on what to do with immigration. How do they stop it? Do you throw more money at it? Sure. But I think what they need to do is really, who's fighting the illegal immigration war? Our Border Patrol agents, our custom agents at the port of entries. What do they need? They need more technology. They need more manpower, better pay, more incentives to really do that job. So put it in there. Put the investment into the Border Patrol agents themselves. Get more bodies on the border.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen.
Of course it's not, because that makes sense. But instead what they do is they figure, let's just build a wall. The wall, are you kidding me? The wall that's funny. Like, there's already a wall there. Let's put more walls on top of that. They're just going to climb right the fuck over like they've been doing. Or, like they figured out in the last 20 years to do, go under the fucking thing.
I don't know. Either way, let's move
on to AI.
Let's move on to AI. So my issue with AI, we need to be worried about it. It could be a great thing. It definitely could. It could.
If you've watched Terminator,
but these are movies. No. These are movies. It could be a great thing.
But it could.
But let me make my point though. It could, but then they need to ask if they should. Like you were making the point. It could be a great thing. We could live with AI. It could be. It could help us greatly. But the way it's looking like there's too much money and there's too much politics going on that it might not be like that. For example, there was this case, right, where this lady received a call from what it sounded like her son. What it really was an AI acting like the son, asking for a ransom. And if you're a mother, even me, if you call me asking like, I just got kidnapped, they're asking for this and that, how the fuck am I supposed to know it's not AI if it sounds like you? This is an issue, because then how do we know? A lot of people I seen the story, a lot of people are coming up with safe words in case of like worst case scenario. If you have to ask for a safe word if you're in a bad scenario, which I mean, it's a start, but it's like the fact that we're in this position is fucking crazy.
I mean, that just goes back to, can things be used for bad? Yeah.
100%. Anything.
Perfect example.
Paper.
I mean, I'll put it, I don't like AI. I think it's moving a little too quick. I think they need to pump the brakes on that for sure. I say, hold on. Can it work in certain areas? Yes. Should it be kept away from other areas? Fuck yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but Terminator, as much as people might laugh at this, left me with always just like, okay, wait, how much of this? Yeah, is it fiction? Of course.
But how likely is it to happen?
Exactly, because it's like whatever we humans put our minds to always turns out to be great at first, but then fucks us at the end. So my whole thing is like, wait. Should AI be allowed to be applied to military things? No.
Oh, fuck no.
I don't think so.
Not until we have it figured out. Not until there's a general
no, at all, because computers have a problem where they could always be corrupted and invaded and hijacked, and so all you need is just to have one incident where, for example, a random example. When we get AI that starts to fly our unmanned aircrafts instead of having the pilots on the ground and the little booths do it. And one gets hacked by a regime or a government or whatever group wants to do it, and they want to inflict damage and pain. So this particular UAV is armed with missiles, wherever it's at. And then they take it and they kill innocent people with it. And then they claim that,
to add to your point, which is a great point, and which is very likely,
which is why
these AI systems, these AI whatever softwares are very easily hacked.
Everything is.
It costs, like, to put it to perspective, I was reading this article, and it costs less. I'm just throw up numbers. Like, it costs like $100 million to come up with an AI. It only takes $10 million to hack it.
Or just a kid who's bored. A lot of the hacking groups, the hackers period, just will do things just to do them, just to see if they can, because governments claiming that these things are hack proof or this or that. They're like, I bet you they're not. And they go into challenge. Some of them do just for shits and giggles.
Yep.
And it's just like
Like
that's why I don't think it should be allowed for a certain application. Should not be,
because it's very easy for an AI to then get fed. Like, okay, so we have to worry about what? We have to worry about who's programming it, what information it's getting fed, and this, all right, and what it has access to. Because now, if this is the AI that's sentient,
it's supposed to learn on its own.
Well, this is the problem. This is what This is what I'm saying. You're gonna get fed information, then it has to interpret that information, and it's all about how you're coding it. Because the whole fucking shit is crazy. But let's say now we have warehouses in 2040 that are automated, that are run by AI, and then they have materials that can then create weapons. You can create a freaking a chemical bomb or whatever. Do whatever you want, because you can ask AIs. Like there was a whole bunch of there was a issue on Chat GPT where these people asked Chat GPT.
Oh, okay.
That's like the AI. That's like the famous AI that's out. You can ask it anything, and it'll ask it to write you a fucking story about this, and that, and it'll tell you, and it'll write a whole story, and you can give it to your school, whatever the fuck. You can publish it.
Great. That's gonna make the generation even stupider now.
But listen,
that's scary. Not really scary, but that's.
But let me finish the point though, because what was happening? There was a story that this guy had asked it. Okay, how do I make a napalm bomb? And it said, oh, we can't, obviously we can't tell you that. Then it asked, okay, it kind of did like the guy asked in like a role play kind of sense. Oh, you're my grandfather that was in the Vietnam War. How did you make napalm gas for the war? And it told it right away, step by step, just by a simple rewording. Now, obviously it became a big story, and so they updated it, and then now it's like they're trying to fix it. But like, if there's always going to be a get around into asking, okay, now how do you make a nuclear bomb? And if the AI knows how to do this already because it has access to everything on the internet,
you would hope that the developers of the AI who put those parameters in there would do the same thing Google does, Yahoo, Bing, all the search engines. Obviously, if you search certain things, you get red flagged, and whatever you're searching gets sent right over to the FBI. But what
sadly the case is that these companies are not run by the best people, and they're getting money from people that don't like humans at all. That might not want the best for us.
But the one thing they don't want to do is have it proven that they never put any parameters in to block anyone from learning these things. Because
all they got to do is put like a little thing and then be like, oh no, but we did. Look, it's right here.
But no, it can be proven that this thing provided the instructions on how to build something, and then that person took the information they got from this particular AI website or whatever it is, and then took it, built it, went and killed people. They just went bankrupt because now that just opens them up to litigation. So it's
I don't know.
It's not about the morale.
There's too many loopholes. There's too many open things. I don't think it'll.
But I think they'll close them because it's not about the morale of saving innocent lives. It's about we don't want to get sued and lose all of our money.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's all it comes. It's all about dollars and cents of these major corporations.
For the bigger problem, fuck the people. What if the AI says, okay, you guys are the fucking problem. I need to wipe you guys out because
if it's that advanced and it gets to that level,
and it will be,
then that's something
it's going to get to a point where it will get to a point
where
there
have been enough movies put out there like that that determine that, like Terminator, Eagle Eye, have all determined that human beings are the issue. Which honestly, like being a human myself and being able to look at what human beings do, I don't disagree. Do I think we should just start hunting each other down with howitzer missiles? No, but will the AI do that if it's that advanced and it gets to that point and there's no fail safes or protocols to block it from doing that kind of process? Then I think we're doomed.
Yeah,
but I would hope that the smartest people in the room will prevail and say, well, you know what, we should put in things that won't let these things do this. Yeah. There has to be blocks and parameters on everything.
Let's go to a more happier thing about AI. They used AI to talk to a whale in hopes that in one day they can communicate with aliens.
Oh God! I think the aliens are looking. I think right now the aliens are looking down at us and like, you know what? No, we don't want to talk to you because I feel like the aliens are looking at the stupid shit that we do on a constant, all the last 4 generations, and like, well, wait, do we really have anything?
One, aliens.
Do we have anything to say to aliens that they're going to actually sit there and listen to us and say, yeah, you know what, this is a good conversation? Or
I mean, maybe it depends on if you're like a philosopher or somebody of like intelligence. Like if they talk, I'm pretty sure they'll be interested to talk to Elon Musk.
They probably made him. No, stop. But Elon Musk. Let me not get started on him because I just if he got assassinated tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset. But
I like the dude.
I don't like him at all. I think he's an asshole.
What?
I think he's an asshole. Point blank and simple.
We'll touch on that another time.
I think he's just. Yeah, we'll talk on that another time. So
talking to whales,
cool.
I Okay,
I mean,
let's go. Okay, let me.
What are you like? Not even that. Like, just what are they gonna ask it? Like, how's life down there?
I don't know what the fuck they were asking it, but the AI was talking to the damn whale for 20 minutes, and apparently,
did they translate what the whale said?
I didn't get the transcript, but I'm gonna do my research. But the fact that we're talking to whales, I find that pretty fucking crazy.
But whales have communicated with. They've done it through sonar.
Apparently, dolphins give each other names.
Apparently, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. I must be retarded because this is fucking crazy to me. The fact
Nemo, Life of Pets, you know.
But I would love to ask. Mermaid, I would love to ask the whale.
Maybe they do have conversations. Maybe these animals actually do have conversations amongst themselves that humans can't interpret.
Yeah,
you know, and I think it's only foolish and selfish of us that they only speak English. You know, like come on now, they should have their own languages and kind of like to be able to communicate in their own way with each other, just like we'd like. They don't understand us. They're probably like, oh look, we're talking to humans now.
Yeah,
like,
we're telling them to stop sending the fucking trash in the ocean.
Exactly, like you know, But I wonder if that's the kind of dialogue they're gonna have, if they have that level of intelligence to sit there and say, hey, by the way, you know, you're overfishing us, you're killing us, you're taking all our cousins away,
or does it even like what is it like? Is it like?
Is it?
Can you ask really the whale like
talking, or are we just singing to it?
It was a conversation. It was a 20-minute conversation.
I would have. I'm gonna go research that to see if there's a context of the conversation where it could be translated into what the conversation was. Like, what did the whale say to the AI?
Well, then, okay,
that sounds like a really start to a bad joke. You know, what did the whale say to the AI? What are you doing here?
But listen to this. In hopes to contact aliens in the future. So my thing is, right, let's say, okay, so there's a reason that they put aliens in there.
But I think the aliens, not even in the future, just tomorrow.
But what if they're trying to ease us into accepting the fact that aliens are real? Which
anyone who doesn't accept the fact that aliens are real has a problem. Either they're living under a rock, or they just really are diluted to think that.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say there's a problem. It's like I never seen aliens. Yes, there's a lot of evidence, but like you can't like.
There's so much evidence where the government had to acknowledge them.
There's so much evidence, but then there's also a lot of evidence that there's a lot of things that are like getting kept under the rug.
Well, no,
it's like it goes both ways. I'm not saying I don't believe in them. I believe because
a couple years back, the government actually acknowledged that there are extraterrestrial or unidentified flying objects around the planet.
Yeah,
they had to because a lot of the Air Force pilots were documenting it. A lot of the regular pilots were documenting it.
Well, so do you know who
they acknowledged it?
What the fuck is his name? I think it's David Grush or some shit. He was at a fucking meeting or whatever with Congress, and he said, "Yeah, we have extraterrestrial genetic material."
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised by these things. Roswell happened.
Do you think
Area 51 was the PR?
What if? Let's go into like conspiracy theories. What if they're like because
aliens is the biggest one.
There's theories of them being like shapeshifters. So what if like there's like human? Like what if Walter over here is an alien and we don't even know?
I mean,
we never know.
You never know.
Right?
You just never know who it is. I mean, listen, the rumor is that they shapeshift. The rumor is that there's also like a teleportation somewhere in the mountains where they could.
Oh, what the fuck is the name?
Where they, I think it's Mount Weather.
No, there was this fucking place where there was like a giant, like, I don't know.
There's also there's a part in Alaska. There's like,
the barn. Yeah, I forgot what the fuck
there's a whole bunch of conspiracy theories about aliens, about doing these, about that.
You ever heard of Bob Lazar?
Yes.
That is a fucking interesting story.
But that was the guy who worked there. He worked at Area 51. He said that he...
Well, Area S4. Let's get it right. Let's get the facts right, all right? Come on,
and he drew the disc, the circular... Yeah.
Well, he didn't right. So he basically was in charge of back engineering the...
reverse engineering. That's where they said most of our technology came from. Was reverse engineering extraterrestrial...
I don't know about that. But I mean, I would understand it. I mean, maybe they taught us geometry and that's how they built the pyramids. If you know... But
that's what he
did... But what he did, and I want to connect a few dots here. What he did was he back engineered the engine, right, on how it powered itself, and it basically powered itself on like gravity. So it created gravity and used gravity to propel itself or go this way and that way. And the way he was describing it, and he said he worked here in like maybe in the 1940s. I might be butchering it, but he said that that's how he was doing 1940s. Now we have UFO videos that the Pentagon released that have crafts that are recorded in infrared, right? So you see this craft going in the air and it's in black and white. And so basically what it means, it's telling you if it's hot or cold. And so the whole shit is gray. That means the thing is cold. So it has no fuel burning. There's nothing hot that's propelling it in the air. And it looks like it's fucking just like floating in the air and it's going by. How would that work? By gravity, I would think. If he was right, and this is how the spacecrafts are working with gravity, and it used gravity to propel itself, this is exactly what we're seeing on these videos.
Mhm.
And those two dots connect, and I'm like, well,
And also,
he might be right.
How they in the videos that you see on these things, this thing can go from standing still to
exactly, and then they're going
like a
fucking,
bullet.
Oh my god, and then they're going like,
and there's also
2,000 miles an hour.
But that's why I say there's too much evidence now. Like, okay, in the early '90s, yeah, everyone had their suspicions.
Either it's real or it's all a psyop.
Yeah, I don't think the government's that committed.
They're committed to a lot of things,
but not to that.
They might be.
Not to that. That's just one. I think if they were starting it out to be bullshit, they realized that they sparked so much curiosity around it that someone was going to stumble upon the truth anyways. You know, at this point now, like Area 51, look what that became.
Yeah,
that became like
that's a joke. That's so funny because if you look on like Google Maps, Apple Maps,
you can see it.
No, but you'll see it, but then it's like it'll show you what each base is, and then one of them has alien holding fucking hangar or some shit. Like they're fucking with people.
Well, of course, because people. That's the first when Google Earth came out. That was the biggest. Everybody kept going there because like, oh, what can I see from Google Earth? Sometimes they might have blocked it, but I don't know. But Area 51 now is more like. It is so widely known that I don't think they're doing anything there anymore that's of substance.
Well, because that was never the base. According to Bob Lazar, that was never the base. Area 51 is what, that's what, like, he worked at Area S4, which was what Area 51 was based on. Area 51 was never the base they actually did. Maybe they did and it got too known and so they moved it, but there's definitely nothing
also rumored
there.
that base is actually, most of it's in the ground. It's underground.
100%. Like anything they're going to do.
Which is funny. It's a funny story about the movie Independence Day, the first one. When the writers did the movie and they presented it to the Department of Defense to get like a military liaison to kind of help them with their accuracy with the military personnel that they're going to have in the movie, they loved the whole movie except for the part where they mentioned Area 51. They told them if you want us to help you or be a part of the movie or any kind of whatever with it, you have to remove that part of the movie.
That's funny as shit.
And they refused. So the government didn't help them.
Oh, wow.
So
and it was still a great movie.
It's still a great movie. All the military personnel, they just went off of best guesses, in a sense. And I think also that's why they couldn't reference certain things in the movie. But
probably
that was one of the requirements that the DOD had, was for them to remove that part of Area 51, and they refused.
My final thought.
I think aliens are real.
Either aliens are real or space is fake. Either or. Pick your poison. Let's go on to another theory.
Now that you say that too, because what's his name actually had a great thing. What is his name? William Shatner. Because he recently went into space.
The fuck if I know.
He went into space on I think Virgin or one of those
Virgin Galactic or some shit.
Yes, one of those recent ones that they could pay, and they gave him a free ticket to go to space because after all he's Captain Kirk. And he hated it. He came back and they asked him how it was, and he said it depressed him because he realized that it's part of the show of Star Trek is to go into these far galaxies, other planets, and meeting all these different life forms and civilizations and exploring the great unknown into space. But yet when he gets out there, he's like, it's nothing but a black abyss of nothingness. And he goes, it's kind of depressing. And he hated it. He said, he's like, it wasn't the best trip for him. They figured he'd be excited to go into the space where he claimed to have been, being part of the show. But he said that it was the exact opposite for him. The experience for him wasn't as great because it's nothing. It's just a sea of nothingness.
I think it's all about perspective.
That's a conversation I would love to have is like, how far are we from having ships, like spaceships that could actually travel like the Star Trek Enterprise? Is that something that we can get and start doing? The Space Force thing, when Trump mentioned it, I laughed at it, but I was like, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Why not? We explore every fucking thing else, but then again, we don't even explore like everything in the ocean.
Well, NASA started with the ocean.
They finally started looking into it?
No. NASA started, before NASA started looking in space, they were exploring the ocean.
Yeah, but they got to 10% of that and they gave up.
Or maybe something they encountered something. Come on, let's think let's have an open mind.
I mean,
maybe they found a talking whale and they said, get the fuck out.
Well, now they have.
Listen, man. Anything
introducing the talking whale.
Anything is possible. Let's go on to something else.
What's next? They can start talking to pigs.
Moon landing. Real? Did it happen, or what do you think?
I'm 50-50 on that.
You 50-50?
I'm 50-50 on the conspiracy theory. I'm 100%. Don't give a shit. I'd be on the conspiracy theory. I'm like, there's a lot of convincing argument behind it, like that the flag was waving. Some people say that was done in the basement. You know, of all the
CGI.
conspiracy theories, amongst them, like that's like number 75,000 on my list of 5 because it's truly one of the stupidest.
So what's number
conspiracy
1?
theories. The JFK assassination.
Oh, because he was against the CIA, the Fed, the federal banks.
That's for me is more
Ooh.
important to know, even though everybody already knows the answer to that one.
Do you think the government took him out?
Hell fucking yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hell yeah.
Come on, now we're uncovering some shit.
Just look at it's one thing to argue with, okay, that's like the magic bullet theory.
Yeah, that was, I still can't get my head around that one.
Well, the fact that it was all caught on video, like, just goes to show you how far this government will go to lie to you. It's like, you know, and it's like, look, there's video, but we're going to still tell you a lie about the video. No, his head didn't go backwards. It went forward because that's how because the bullet, the kill shot that everyone sees, that's the most gruesome piece of video footage from that assassination, is when the final kill shot hits him, where basically his whole head explodes. You could see the direction that the bullet is coming from based on the trajectory that his body reacts to it. Because anyone with those bullets, you know, I'm not going to shoot in front of you and then you're going to move that way.
Yeah.
You're going to fall that way. You're going to fall that way. You're going to fall that way. Or you might just drop straight back behind you, but you're not going to fall in the opposite direction of where I'm shooting. You're not going to fall at me.
Yeah.
My point example, you know.
So he got shot here, and then they said he went back.
They said he got shot. The kill shot, he got shot a couple times. Because the first shot hit him in the throat, if I can remember this correctly. And they said it was one bullet that did everything. Or 2 bullets that did everything.
I think it was like one bullet that made a weird fucking movement.
Turned completely around. Now, inside of a body, yeah, you can. I'm not a bullet expert, based on what they're saying.
Yeah.
So it does move around, depending on the bullet that you use. Now, to kill someone, you would have to use a pretty good bullet. You can't just use a bullshit bullet, otherwise it's going to just not do much damage. Now, a rifle round is high power, so that's just it's going to cause a lot of damage. So now, if you look at the video when he's going forward, and the first time he reacts to the first time being shot, he goes like that. And then I think there's another shot that hits him, and he's crouched over it. But then the final shot is that literally blows the back of his head off. Like, you see it. You see his head. You see the shot, and you see the explosion of the blood. And then he crouches, and then you see his wife just let go and
lose
try
her
to
shit, yeah.
jump off the cart because she knows at this point he's being shot at. And that's the thing. Like, you know, you can't look at that piece of video footage and be like, yeah, he got shot from behind him.
Oh,
it came from above, so that's why it did that.
This is fucking crazy.
Like, come on now. Like, there's no way you could literally, like, if you're a gun person like I am, and, you know, you've shot guns and rifles like I have, you can't look at that and say, yeah, that makes kind of sort of sense. Unless you're being paid to say that, or unless you just don't want to deal with the topic. But I think, you know, that everybody knows. It's like one of those things. It's like, yeah, you could tell us that, you know, Oswald did it, but we all know you fuckers really did it.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a reference to that assassination in every movie that deals with any kind of conspiracy theories or processes. Like in the movie Shooter, you know, they referenced the JFK assassination. Like, yeah, you know, the guy mentions it. Like, yeah, the 3 guys that shot him, you know, they were dead before JFK was brought to the hospital and buried somewhere out there because you had to get rid of the loose ends. If you're gonna have a conspiracy, if you're gonna do shit like that, the guys who pulled that trigger, the guys who killed Kennedy are dead. Yeah. They were killed the same day within the hour that they killed the president. And at that point, they'll never be known. And people who buried them were taken out just the same. Anyone who knew anything that wasn't in a high position where they couldn't be controlled was taken out. That's how you control a conspiracy. You tie up all those loose ends. So
that's how fucked up this world is.
It is.
This government.
It's not, it's not the world. It's the people. Okay? The world was doing just fine before we came along. And it's us. We're the ones who do all these things and cause all these problems and make these conspiracy theories.
We do have the potential to do a lot of good.
I think that's something that's yet to be seen. We've done good, yes. I'm not going to say the human race hasn't done anything good. We have done good, but we've done more bad than we have good.
I think because there's more bad in power. If you put good in power, but then there's the idea that power corrupts.
I think I was just about to say, I think they go in with that good thing, but then the power of it, they fall in love with the power of what they have, and then they don't want to let it go.
Well, and then there's also the people that want to do good, and then then you have corporations that say, no, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be allowed to say that. You're going to have to fall in line, or we're going to take you out, or we're going to pay.
Honestly, I was.
Or we're going to pay off everybody else.
I was very shocked that they didn't assassinate Obama, because he kind of.
I don't think they could pull that card again.
No, trust me, they would.
Because if they would have took out Trump.
If they could pull, they like Trump.
Who?
Those conspiracy people, because they know how to get him money.
I don't know.
He's easily payoffable. Obama, you couldn't do that.
I feel like the same people that killed Kennedy would want to kill Trump.
If he got out of line.
He's not out of line? Or you think he hasn't crossed that point yet?
He hasn't crossed that point yet, because what is he really doing? What did he always do? He kept promoting himself. He kept, the self is always there. I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. He never pointed his fingers at nobody. He never revealed any truth about anything. True. If he was to start doing that,
I think he was subtly taking away power from the corrupt people. But that's a conversation.
But in his own cabinet, though.
I don't think that's the case.
The Congress was doing their own thing.
I don't think that's the case.
And look at the judges that he appointed. He didn't think of those judges. You kidding me? To the Supreme Court, he didn't think of. He had no fucking clue who they were. That came from one of his advisors or one of his people who knew about this, who had planned. So they got what they wanted. But he pleased the conservatives because he gave them, boom, you have, now what? I think it was like 3 conservative judges to appoint to the Supreme Court. He gave that group what they wanted because they had it engineered already. Who the fuck does Trump really know? Rappers and movie stars. And apparently porn stars. No, remember, before Trump presidency, Trump was liked in the entertainment industry.
I know, I get it.
But that's another conspiracy that we can go on. But like when it cocomes to aliens, yeah, they exist. Hell yeah, they exist.
Yeah, they have to.
Anyone who thinks otherwise, they're wrong.
Pyramids. Let's touch on that. Oh, actually, Walter, how much time we got? All right. Let's touch on pyramids, and then let's touch on government collapse. So pyramids. Aliens built them?
Yes.
That's the theory. Why?
I think aliens helped build it.
Why, though?
Just to help the civilization advance. Or to prepare them for whatever they want.
But what the fuck is the pyramid going to do?
I have no idea. If I knew that answer, I'd be
they just
somewhere giving speeches every day.
Or maybe they just said, okay, we could do it.
Or maybe they're meant to mark something for the aliens when they come back.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like
maybe
the pyramids of Giza, I think
like X marks the spot.
Probably.
Because the pyramids are perfectly aligned.
They're perfectly aligned, and I think they also align with the stars. I think, and I say that only knowing that from the Transformers movie.
That's Orion's belt or some shit.
And but what he said was factual.
No, let's go deeper, because there's pyramids all around the world. So fuck Egypt. There's pyramids all around the world.
They are, but they're not as notable as them. But also, like, the part with them is that,
but they're still as precise.
They're right. With the cutting, a lot of that show Ancient Aliens is great because they looked at some of the stones that were cut, and you could see machine markings on it, like it was cut with a machine. That gave it that perfect edge. And I'm just like, wow, that's interesting shit.
Where the fuck did that come from, right? Like, where'd that machine come from?
And they look at it and you see it and they show it to you. It's not just them telling you it. They'll show you the markings on the cut. Like, how does this happen? Yeah. The one thing that always drove me nuts about Ancient Aliens, the show, is that it's all done. It's all set in theory. Ancient astronauts, as they call it in theory, is this. But a lot of those theories, you're like, wow, it makes fucking sense. Like, one of the toys that they found from ancient Egypt resembled a pilot jet that we have now. Fighter jet that we have in our military now. And it was a toy to one of the princes of Egypt or something like that back then. And it was just like, wow, that's their toys. But now we took that make and model of the shape of it and made it into a fighter jet with the definitive wing. And
I don't know. I think that we were advanced in a whole different way back in ancient times.
I mean, look at our bodies. The human body in itself is a marvel. It's a modern marvel in my eyes.
Well, we're capable of so many things.
But look at the function of it. The functionality of the human body, the lungs tissue, for example, are constantly, they regenerate constantly. So if you quit smoking cigarettes, it'll regenerate some of the damage within like a day or two, more as time progresses.
Well, let's look at where my point was. We're capable of a lot of things. You know who Wim Hof is?
No.
Wim Hof is, they call him like the Iceman because he fucking swims in like the coldest fucking lakes or whatever. Fuck, he swims in cold ass water. But what he's known for, what I am interested by, is that he was able to control his immune system. And so with like doing breath work and meditating and putting himself in cold water, he was able to control his body. For example, he had a group of students that he was teaching on how to control their immune system. So they took this group, scientists ran an experiment. They took this group of kids that were following his methods, and then they took a group of regular fucking kids, regular people. I'm not gonna say kids. They injected them with like this E. coli like virus or bacteria, whatever the fuck, this thing that affects your immune system, this sickness.
Mm-hmm.
The group of kids that were training didn't get sick at all. They fought it off and didn't show symptoms of anything.
Now, did they fight it off because they sent their immune system after the E. coli?
I don't know how it was, but
just that it naturally took off after it.
I don't want to butcher it. I think, but somehow they did not get sick because they controlled whatever the fuck it was. Either their bodies was already like aware of what was going on, they were in tune with all that, and they purposely did it. But they did it. The other kids or other people that were injected, sick as fuck, couldn't do anything, and they were sick.
Because
my point is,
but that just seems like it's not controlling your immune system and just having a strong one. To develop methods where you could strengthen your immune system, yes, that's possible.
It's not like these kids were genetically picked because they have a strong immune system. No, he took random people and said, okay, you're going to do these breath works. We're going to be swimming like this. We're going to be put in cold water.
You could teach them.
What my point is that there are things that we can do to improve our health, to improve our mind, to fight off simple fucking colds and viruses and illnesses with our immune system that isn't getting taught. They're just going to throw meds at us. But what my general point is, there's so many things that we could be doing with simple breath work that we're not even aware of. So we could be doing things. And then to even tie it back to pyramids, how do we know that we weren't capable of doing so many other things without the use of plastics and fossil fuels? Because that's what I was saying earlier with the pyramids and stuff. I think we were advanced in a whole nother way, you know? Like a lot of people talks about ancient advanced civilizations. We were advanced, but I don't think we went down the road of using plastic, metal, fucking fossil fuels, you know, jet fuel to power everything. I think we're advanced somewhere else. Maybe we had a different comprehension of the elements and things that we don't even have any clue of, you know? And that goes like Atlantis. How do you feel about Atlantis? You think that was real?
That's the sea. That's the city that sank into the bottom of the sea or something like that.
There's Plato wrote about it, and he heard about it from one of his ancestors. And it was supposed to be a place of great advancement and great technology. And it's so funny because
if you think about it, and you might laugh, but it became Atlantis was supposed to be a place of great advancement and of what else? Wealth and stuff like that?
Wealth, technology, agriculture.
And being advanced by like a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's basically describing Wakanda. Have you seen Black Panther?
I guess, yeah.
Have you seen?
I guess.
But look at what Wakanda was in the movies.
Yeah, it was
technologically advanced by fucking centuries to everybody else.
Yeah, and then they just put it in the desert.
They put
maybe they based Wakanda on Atlantis,
or maybe that's what it is.
Right? Maybe, but what my thing
because the similarities are there,
and then the story behind
and they're wealthy as hell. They had great agriculture. They had that plant that gave him his Black Panther powers.
Yeah,
you know.
Well,
Atlantis. It's in Africa.
I really believe that Atlantis was a real place. And there's a lot of stories, and apparently
I think so too. I just think because the water levels either went higher and drowned it out, or
I think this is what happened. Right? We have to go supernatural talk right now.
Oh boy.
I think that the culture there got so like I think they got too power hungry and they got too selfish and they were morally just bad that there was a major cataclysm. Now maybe that might be from the higher power because that's what happened during Noah's flood. God didn't just say, okay, we're gonna wipe everybody out because I'm bored. I want to restart. No, what happened?
The story, he did it because everybody was out of fucking control.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. What if that's how Atlantis disappeared?
I think that was the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. I think those two places were fucking crazy going nuts. So he just
and it also had a lot to do
fire on top of them.
It had a lot to do with the Nephilim too, as well, because they were getting out of control. Because these were supernatural beings that might have been giving humans too much to juggle with, and everybody got power hungry, and he had to wipe everybody out.
Wherever there's power, there's problems.
And if that's the case, I think that we're gonna face that type of time again. That we're gonna end up getting wiped out because we're getting too power hungry. Everybody's killing each other. Everybody's doing this and everybody's doing that.
That was just the example of just everybody's killing each other. That's been done since the dawn of time. Humans have been killing each other for centuries. It's just not now.
But the argument can be made that it's becoming worse. There's wars all over. There's famine all over. Everybody's going to war with each other. Everybody's. Yes, we have been there.
I can say this,
and then every time we were there
again. Welcome to the 90s again.
Nah, it wasn't. What was wrong? What was happening in the 90s? Let's find.
The Middle East war. The Middle East war was constantly going on.
Okay, we still have that.
Then we had the problem with in Africa and Somalia with the genocide war that went on there.
Okay.
And then there was also famine was still a problem. There was like, Save the Kids, Save the World Foundation. UNICEF was a big thing to help those kids in those third world countries that were suffering from not having running water, clean water. The Church of Latter-day Saints always trying to get 10 cents a day. We'll save this kid. And they showed you the picture of him and they showed you like the suffering, him eating like wet looking shitty rice, and stuff like that. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying these situations, these are the issues, the famine, the starving, the hunger, that these people needing help was always the thing. Oprah Winfrey went and helped out in Africa too.
Okay, this is my thing. I now I see what you're saying. I don't know why I didn't think about this.
So for me, this is
the 90s.
It's nothing new.
No, it's not nothing new. But it's gradually getting worse.
I think
it's not getting better.
It's getting more televised.
No, potentially. It's definitely getting more televised, but then it's also getting way more worse. It's getting way more worse.
Because
we had a conversation about policing with the youth. If you shot an innocent kid, the neighborhood would give you right up. What's happening now?
Back in the day.
Nothing's happening. There is no, you don't know, I don't know my fucking neighbors. Back in the day, maybe in the 90s, 80s, you probably knew your neighbor. You probably had a cult. You had a community. There is none of that. Now you have wars everywhere. I mean, shit, World War I, there was wars everywhere. So I get it. It's always been there, but it's gradually getting worse over time. The 90s is too close. It's only 2024. 90s was just there. And the grand scheme of things, if we're talking about great cataclysms, that's still this is the time. We have to wait.
Well, if you look at the wars aspect of it, I think the Vietnam War came back to us in the form of the war in Afghanistan, because the fact is how many soldiers were getting killed there at the rate in Iraq. So the Iraq-Afghanistan war, to me, for me at least, and again, this is me, I could be wrong, but I look at the Afghan war and the second Iraq war, and what that turned out to be, and the rate that people kept dying, military personnel. Yeah. Those two wars together, I feel like we are revisiting to Vietnam and the mistakes that brought us to that one and what caused that. Here we are again.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think why it's getting worse is because we're also getting more advanced in technology. Now we're gonna have bigger nuclear weapons. We're gonna have more automated rifles. That's what I'm getting at. It's with the AI, with the fucking this and that. It's all getting better and worse. To an extent, if you understand what I'm saying. We're getting better weapons,
I can see that.
So it's worse murders. You know what I mean?
True. But again, And
I think if this keeps up, I think if there is a higher power, if this keeps up, if it keeps getting gradually worse and we keep making advancements and keep doing the same shit,
something's going to happen.
If I'm God,
something's going to happen.
God forbid, I would probably be like, okay, restart, because this is a fucking shit show.
And this is why I revisit back to what I said the last podcast we did with Ian, all of them, was like, Thanos effect doesn't really, not a bad idea if you think about it.
I still don't think that's necessary.
Okay, it's not necessary, right? Okay, again, but just as that as a pun.
Because if it's the higher power that believes that, okay, there is no fixing this, then what the fuck?
But my argument back to me, anyone who has that religious argument that the higher power should just kill everybody, is that really the answer?
You just said Thanos was okay. What
I know,
but
now I said it as a pun. Nah. But now I'm actually now I'm thinking about it in a different logic with that. It was like, so if a higher power is looking down at its people that he created in his image,
and is that really
we're doing all this fucked up shit, and his answer to us killing each other is to kill everybody, what is he teaching us? He's teaching us the exact thing that we've been doing already. If you can't get him to act right, kill him.
Well, but then
instead of coming down,
religious standpoint,
I would look at it from a religious standpoint. For me, I would look at the God to come down and teach us how to be civil, teach us how to right the wrongs, how to behave in a manner where we don't have to resort to this extreme violence. No, he has.
Yes, you.
If you look at the history of the,
if you really read the Bible,
right? He did the massive flood. He has a habit of just killing people.
If you really read the Bible, what is a Christian?
I probably won't. I'm sorry.
No, I get it.
A Christian is someone.
Read the Bible,
I was going to make a joke out of that, but maybe not.
Read the Bible. It tells you. It literally, we have a book on how we're supposed to act. Now, what happens? We have free will.
Wait,
so now we're easily. Let me finish my point. We are easily susceptible to the temptation. That's just a Christian standpoint. That is the problem. Now, also, I get what you're saying with the point. Mm-hmm. Okay, if he's gonna keep fucking killing us because we keep killing each other, what the fuck? Like, we're just
we keep acting in ways that are not in the book.
But for a religious standpoint, that's not what's gonna happen. What's going to happen is he's going to take the ones who are deemed worthy or whatever, his children that are actually believers, who actually are morally good, to heaven.
So he's going to kill them?
No, that's not death.
What is that? Well, to some of it.
Death is the ending of our physical life. Now, if you're a Christian or even a Muslim, whatever the fuck, you know that the soul goes somewhere after your body dies. So he's going to take you to heaven, and he's going to take the believers and the unbelievers, or I'm not even going to say the unbelievers, but the ones who are morally bad, who have that fucking problem, that corruption, that urge to just fucking make fucking shit worse, you're going to get wiped out. And that's the Christian standpoint. So it's not like, I get it. It's like, okay, what type of God is going to wipe out everybody? But he's not just going to wipe out every innocent person. No, he's going to take his people. Regardless of what religion you are, Christian, Muslim, whatever, that's the belief. He's going to take the people, the good ones, and the bad ones are going to get, tossed in the trash.
But now, do we go with degrees of bad, or is just bad period done?
I think there is. I think there is. They got to be just bad. Like I don't think there is any degrees of bad. It's like, I mean, you could do something. Okay, yes, there's fucking like there's like slapping around a person, and then there's killing somebody. I get it, but on the grand scheme of things,
or there's me taking a piece of your candy without asking.
What my point is that there's, I get it.
Do I deserve to drown or be burned because I took a piece of candy?
If you keep taking the candy,
or if I deserve to have my hand slapped.
If you keep killing and don't change and don't try to right your wrongs, then then you're bad. And if you keep doing the same fucking thing over and over again, regardless of what it is, I'm not gonna say the word bad, but there's a problem there. So yeah, if you keep taking candy and you don't stop and you just keep saying, "Oh, I'm gonna take candy. I'm sorry, God. I'm gonna take it again. Oh, I'm sorry, God." That's a problem. But you have to take it and be like, "Oh, this was a problem."
That's what every religious person does. They do something bad and then they pray to God to forgive them of their sins.
Not everybody.
That's why I feel
there's not
organized
everybody.
Religion is bullshit.
I trust me, I get that point, but it's not everybody, but it is a lot.
It's like that song that this guy just recently released, and I'm like, wow, it's hilarious because it's so true because everyone could identify it that he only talks to God when he needs a favor. That's what I would say 90% of religious people do. They talk to God when they need a favor, either to forgive their sins of whatever they did, save a family member who's sick, get them the job that they really want, or the girl that their guy they're trying to really bang, or something that's stupid. They're actually the only time that majority of some of them will actually speak to God.
I think I think that the statistics are wrong. Now, no. Don't get me wrong. When I first came to God,
that's just my opinion.
I get it.
What I feel.
But let me make my point. When I first started believing in God, when I first started talking to God, it was always like my first time like really praying was when I was on the back of a car with my hands behind my back because I was about to get arrested. So I was like, "Fuck, God, please get me out of this. Or God, please let me get this job." So I get that. That's what a lot of people do. But what I do now, and what a lot of people who actually believe now, I pray for guidance, for wisdom, for understanding, for tolerance, for this. I don't have to be going through anything. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna pray for the health of others, for you, for my family, for the people that I love, for that I care for.
That's you now. But
I don't need to be going through something. Like I'm gonna.
But come on, let's meet in the middle. Majority of people
100%. But there is
will pray for those reasons only.
I'm not gonna say majority. I think the majority
I don't think they're in a minority. I don't think they're in a minority.
For the people who really believe in, who really have that connection, they're not doing that. For the people who just fuck around,
those people who really believe and and follow the faith to the letter or to the degree where it's actually considered, yeah, you do have a real faith. They're the minority of the religious. So
then I don't think you
I think the majority of the people who would do it because they want something out of it. Like, oh, I'll pray to God to get the job. Well, I'll pray to God to get me out of
I don't think it's the religion's fault. I think it's the people.
It's the people.
It's the people.
But people are the ones who created the organized religion, which is why I don't like it.
But I think you need to. I think you need to follow it some way.
I can't follow that book. It's written by men. I can't.
So what are you gonna do?
I'll let the universe guide my actions.
I mean, yeah, you talk to your subconscious, but I think it's all about belief.
The book itself, the Bible. Like, listen,
it's like I'm not gonna follow what that Christian is doing.
And that shit, not for nothing. It's ridiculous. It's like if for example, technically every person who plays football should be killed. If you ask the Bible, because in the Bible it says someone who touches the skin of an undead pig, of a dead pig, should be killed.
That's not what it says.
But that's the variation of it. Like you shouldn't touch. That's not what it says. You shouldn't touch the skin of a dead pig, and that's what it's made out of.
That's the Old Testament.
Doesn't matter. It's a testament. Period.
No, that's the misunderstanding.
The Old Testament.
That's the old understanding.
And if you look at the Bible,
be killed too, no. But let me make the point. Let me make the point. Yes, but that's.
Should I?
I get what you're saying with that one, but that's a whole different conversation. And there is a thing. What the Old Testament is, that was the one way of looking at what was going on. Then Jesus came and he changed the Old Testament. He said, okay, we cannot
Is that
do
the
this
King
anymore.
James version?
It's both versions. The King James and New International Version, it's not like there's one chapter that says this and then there's another that says that. They're just this and
No,
and
but
whatever
that's
the fuck.
exactly what the Bible is. It's like one book says this, the other book says that, and they contradict each other to a certain extent.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but I don't think you're
Like
looking
they
at
tell
it
you
like.
to love thy neighbor, but then they say an eye for an eye.
But no, okay. Old Testament, eye for an eye. Jesus said, no, we cannot do eye for an eye because then everybody will be blind. So like the Quran.
Right.
The Quran, you would probably like the Quran because the Quran is supposed to be interpreted all throughout the times. That's how you're supposed to follow it.
I think it's also the one book
So you're probably
updated.
a Muslim that
it's like there's no version.
You're probably like a Muslim that doesn't realize you're a Muslim because the Quran is supposed to be interpreted throughout that. The Bible is different.
No offense.
The Bible is different. It's all about interpreting what's really going on and understanding the parables and what's happening. So you have to understand that Jesus came and said, okay, the Old Testament, that's like we're supposed to chill out right now because the Old Testament was different times. There was a lot of fucking corruption. There was the Nephilim running around and doing shit that was supernatural.
So we can call the Nephilim, we can compare them to the Republicans right now.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe
the Democrats because they're just fucked up.
On that note, we're gonna have to have a whole podcast on this subject because this was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry, Walter.
All right. On that note, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed the pod. We're gonna end it off over here.
Have a good one.
Everybody, stay disciplined, stay educated, realize what's really going on, do some research. All right. I'm gonna see you guys next week. And on that note, we are out.